Well, I'm doubly excited for a lot of reasons. I mean, baseball kicking off is always a great time of the year. Everybody knows it by the calendar. Everyone has a chance, and then a week goes by, and of course, people jump off that bandwagon really quick. But I'm excited about the opportunity that baseball has to really, with these changes and with the rule changes, to get the game action packed again. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I think everything about what's gone on and what is going on is going to be at the end of the day, people are going to look back and go, wow, what an exciting year, and return to more action. And that's what baseball is trying to do with these changes.
It's early so far with these changes, but what is your take as the former pitcher and as someone who now is in the booth?
Well, I've been watching it for a long time, of course, now, gosh, 13, 14 years since I retired. And I think the game has definitely moved in a different way. And I know the reward systems are different. So I don't like comparing eras. But the game has slowed down because of a lot of reasons, a lot of data, a lot of information, a lot of processing. And for that, by osmosis, players just learn to do that. And I think these changes have been because of data and because the data has shown us how long the games have taken, how little action has really been in the game. There is not one rule change that won't impact the game directly in a positive way. And I think players always will learn how to make adaptations to the rules. We always did back then. They will now, and they will in the future. And when you think about all the other sports, they all did this, and nobody thinks twice about it. There wasn't a shot clock in basketball for a long time. You could have hold the ball for 20 minutes if you wanted to. So all things and all sports evolve, and they evolve because of a scenario that takes place that dominates the conversation in a way they don't want it to dominate anymore. And I'm excited to see how these things are going to move. And I think fans are going to be really happy.
It seems with the pitch clock, at least from the fans early on, is very, very favorable. As the pitcher, how would John Smoltz, the pitcher, how would you have fared with that pitch clock?
Well, I'd have loved it. I have little patience. I like to get the ball and go. I think that was what we were always taught, anyways, to keep our defense fresh, to always get the ball and dictate kind of the tempo. And the more you suck the life out of the game, you affect your defense too. I don't think there's less than 5%. Well, this will directly impact in a way, maybe negatively, and it might take them longer, but it's less than that. I mean, there's very few players that this will impact in a way where you could say, okay, it's taken them longer to adjust. I think it impacts the hitters more than it impacts the pitchers.
Shohei Ohtani goes out, and he might have been the first one to wear the pitch com, and of course he's vintage Shohei Ohtani out there. How impressive is that? And is that something you think other pitchers will follow his lead?
I think so. I think in the game that, again, is played differently, information is received differently. In the time that I pitched, we called our own game, and there were ways to decode it. There were ways to do it. Now they have technology, and I think more pitchers that have understood how to navigate the game will take control over the pitches. Because if you think about it, why should a pitcher ever shake his head? If he knows what pitch he wants to throw, there's never going to be a shake in their head, and there won't be any discussion because the pitcher is the one that's throwing it. But I always used to laugh and tell my catchers, "You're just a tool of suggestion, and I'm the one that's throwing the pitch." And of course, we work well together when you have continuity that works together. So when the game goes crisper, and when the pitchers and catchers are on the same page, you're going to see everything move at a pace that is a little bit. It might be shocking in the beginning, but it's really going to move the game along.
You, Joe, and Ken will be in the Bronx on Saturday. Giants at Yankees, 4 p.m. Eastern. Aaron Judge, this guy has the historical season last year, opening day, homers in his first at bat. It just seems like he can do whatever he wants. I mean, how the expectations for him this season?
Well, for me, I've watched this guy. He's been one of my favorite players to watch. Everything he does seems to be with class and character, but his size and his dominance, we haven't seen anything like this in a long time. And I talk about a hitter has to close windows. When he closes windows of opportunity for pitchers to get him out, then pitchers start creating fear. And then that player is going to reach a level which he's reached. He's not going to hit 61 home runs every year, but he's going to be able to continue to get better. If he stays healthy, the sky's the limit for him. And I think that the New York Yankees obviously, when you think about New York in the past, you think about Derek Jeter and the likes, but now it's Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge can carry the mantle for a long time as long as he stays healthy. So I see 40 to 50 home runs, of course, because he has that capacity, but his ability to shut down the ways that pitchers were normally getting him out is the progression you want to see for any superstar.
You mentioned Derek Jeter, the Anthony Volpe debuted, youngest shortstop since Derek Jeter. The comparisons are there. You were there when it all started in the 96 World Series against him. Tough for him, tough act to follow for Volpe.
Oh my goodness, yes. But growing up not too far from here, and the story is just so incredible. Good for him. And the heartbeat is what usually determines how you handle something, and no greater place in the world than here in New York. And I think if you have the right personality and the right heartbeat, you can sustain and show your fan base that you're going to absolutely give everything you have. And he seems to have that criteria. You never know how things are going to turn out, right? Expectations. We know more about players than we've ever known before, and more predictions are right than ever before because of the young style, the young superstar. They're more ready to contribute in a game that's younger. That wasn't the case 20 years ago. You had to earn your stripes, and you probably had to put in more time, and you spent more time in the minor leagues to develop your craft. Now guys are getting thrown into the fire, and it's interesting to see how they develop and how they handle it. But no place in the world is a tougher place or a greater place to do your thing than here in New York.